Jean-François, let's start with Émilie Lessard-Terrien.
Mm-hmm.
So she's elected the new co-spokesperson for Québec Solidaire, like barely, as James Meny pointed out early today. She narrowly beat Ruba Gazal. So who is Émilie? What do we know about her, and what do you think about her as the new co-spokesperson?
Well, she was an M&A from Rouyn-Noranda. She made quite a surprise in 2018 when she won that riding, because we didn't think that Québec Solidaire could go far beyond the orange line of the subway in Montreal, but they did there in Quebec City and in Sherbrooke. And she became a very strong proponent of more regional proposals. But then at the 22 election, she was beaten with a large 5,000 majority for the CAQ. And that was seen as the inability of Québec Solidaire to consolidate gains in the regions, and also an effect of some of the proposals that they had on hiking prices on vehicles that are very much used and loved in the regions. And so this was part of the reason why she lost. Now, coming back as a co-spokesperson, she will have a lot of work to do, but some basis to do it because she won, to try and cater to regional appetites when framing the next program of Québec Solidaire, maybe saying, well, we shouldn't propose that because it will hurt us, and let's do this instead that could help us in the regions. One of her great challenges will be to regain her seat in Rouyn-Noranda, which is not a certain thing. It's maybe the Parti québécois could regain this seat that they have had for a long time. But it showed, she only won by a few votes of the delegates. It was not a vote from the membership, but from the delegates. Of course, regional delegates made a substantial amount of those 700 people that were there this weekend, but also her very good presentation during the last debate of the three candidates Saturday morning seems to have made a difference, have gained her the 3 or 4 votes that made a difference.
It still somehow speaks to me of a lack of cohesion with the party. Like they've lost. Québec Solidaire has just completely lost the momentum. And then I'm thinking, this idea that they voted to only put forth female or non-binary candidates in by-elections. I am all for gender parity, but I feel like you need better, stronger messages. And in the grand scheme of things, you need people who can connect.
Well, it's on the basis of the proposal, I would have voted for the proposal. Maybe not the non-binary segment, because this is self-affirmation, and
yes.
You can have a man saying, I'm non-binary. How can you check that? And you will be in competition for a riding. So I think this really mucks up the message. But also, it's clear that they're talking to progressives in Quebec, not to the men who react badly to the proposal. Yeah. But one man who reacts badly to the proposal is their former candidate in Jean Talon, who just an hour ago announced that he resigns from Québec Solidaire. He was there through 5 elections, and now he doesn't want to be a member of Québec Solidaire anymore. Now, that's a very bad fallout of an otherwise fine weekend.
Right, so they're losing a potentially good candidate simply because he's not female.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so let's talk about the potential fallout of the strikes that we're seeing in the public sector. I mean, Legault seems pretty steadfast in his message. He keeps saying, I'm very aware that Quebecers are angry with me. I understand. I know that there's work to be done. His popularity's taken a big hit. He's slipping in the polls by the minute, it seems. And yet the public sector strikes are going on and on. He's leaving Sonia Lebel to do the negotiating. It's seemingly going nowhere, Jean-François. I understood that a meeting was happening like right now or this afternoon, but what do you think the fallout's going to be here if they can't resolve these strikes before the Christmas break?
Well, there's some positive signals today, Natasha, from the government and from the unions. They're saying that the conciliator has been doing a fine job, that they're onto territory that hadn't been broached yet. And so there's a cautious optimism on both sides that we've heard today. So it's very much too early to draw any solid conclusions, but we hadn't heard these kinds of signals before in this round of negotiations. The Premier last week officialized what we had understood from Sonia Lebel's pronouncement, is that was not a final wage offer, that there would be more on the table only if there's movement from the unions on work organization. We knew that. Was that enough to make some change? Well, it seems that the unions that are not on strike now, that excludes the teachers from Montreal who are on grève illimitée, but the others are saying, well, we're going to wait a few days to see if the positive spin to the negotiations hold before calling for other days of strike. So that's the first day since almost a year where there seems to be a positive movement.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, we've got to resolve this. It's. I mean, my child is back in school this week, but last week was a real struggle, and just that uncertainty going forward. I can't imagine what it's like for the French sector. Just on a personal note, I'd be curious. So Sonia Lebel appearing on Tout le monde en parle yesterday, and of course there were lots of protesters right outside the Radcan studios, causing a stink and making a big noise, letting her know that they're not happy. And she's saying, I'm listening, but they clearly felt like she wasn't. When that happens, because I don't want to assume, Jean-François, that you've maybe made some people angry in your political career and had some protesters showing up. But I'm thinking it's quite probable you've dealt with protesters. Does that kind of light a fire in you to try to resolve things or make change or get things done? Or is it just like another day in your job?
It's another day in the job.
Really?
It's just another day in the job. The only decision you have to make is, am I going out to greet them, or am I asking for a delegation of 5 to come and meet me inside? Although there's nothing new that will come out of it. It's just being civilized and showing that we're not closing the door to talking. But most of the time, this is venting discontentment. And I thought it was a strange thing to say, because they were saying, she's there alone at this very important program, Tout le monde en parle, and there's no union representative to contradict her. Well, that was true. But a couple of weeks ago, there were 3 union representatives at this same program and no one from the government. So I thought it was pretty balanced.
And like you said, the talks are happening today, and we're actually seeing something. Well, we're hoping something promising might be coming out of that. Did you ever, in those circumstances, just want to sneak out the back door?
Well, only if there's it never happened to me to see people who were angry and where violence could erupt. It happened during, the 2012 union strike, of course, with the Liberals meeting in Saint-Hyacinthe. But otherwise, this is Quebec. People like to shout and talk. And so I would either go out and talk to them, which is dangerous because of the cameras, or ask a delegation to come in and then have a small chat, and that's fine.
But do you think protest works? Do you think, when you say it's just another day at work, and I get that because you're dealing with that stuff all the time, does protest effectuate change?
Protest adds to the signal. If there's no one at your political events while there's a big conflict going on, it's that the mobilization of the group is not very high. Okay. So you have a signal that maybe their strength is not that big. If everywhere you go you have a demonstration, it means that these guys mean business, and you should concentrate on that issue.
All right, great to talk to you. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday.
All right.